Trump on trial. Hi, everybody. I'm Bianca Della Garza. It is great to have you with us. A full hour of analysis on the proceedings in the Bragg case. Judge Merchan again threatening to jail Trump if he violates a gag order again. But will he actually go through with it? During the only day of court so far this week, jurors hearing testimony from Keith Davidson, an attorney who represented Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. He's expected to return to the stand tomorrow when the trial resumes for day 10 and be under cross-examination. Judge Merchan will also hold that gag order hearing. Trump could face a fine of $4,000. They're considering 4 more violations. We have some of the best and brightest legal minds with us this hour. But first, we begin, as always, a pleasure to have Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School, Alan Dershowitz, the author of many books, including The War Against the Jews, which is out right now, Where Books Are Sold, a fantastic and timely read. Professor Dershowitz, thank you again for our special coverage today of Trump on trial. I'd like to start, sir, with the gag order. Yesterday, we did have the ruling here, and it said defendant is hereby warned that the court will not tolerate continued violations of its lawful orders and that, if necessary and appropriate under the circumstances, it will impose an incarceratory punishment. Well, today Trump is out on the campaign trail. Do you think he will be curtailing some of his statements, and should he?
Should not curtail constitutionally protected statements. This judge does not. What he's doing is engaging in prior, which is the core of the First Amendment's prohibition. You cannot stop people from saying things unless they involve the release of the names of spies or nuclear secrets. But you can't impose prior restraint to make a witness a little bit more comfortable. Order so broad, so unconstitutional. If the judge were to impose prison term, it would immediately get to the higher courts, and the Supreme Court would strike it down 9-0. You can prevent somebody from intimidating, threatening jurors, home addresses. But what you can't do is prevent the marketplace of ideas from operating. You have witness Cohen, who's saying all the nastiest things about Trump, having his own podcast, and then Trump can't respond because he's a presumptively innocent defendant who was indicted by a grand jury that would indict a ham sandwich named Trump. If you can do that to Trump, you can do that to anybody, and you certainly can't do it to a man running for president of the United States who has heightened First Amendment protection. So this judge would get a D- with great inflation in any course in constitutional law and freedom of speech.
Well, let's see what happens today. We're going to be carrying all of that live. Donald Trump's speeches today. We know this attorney, Keith Davidson, will be back on the stand tomorrow for cross. Professor Dershowitz, some of the exchanges yesterday talked about his dealings with Michael Cohen. He called him excitable. He's called him a guy with his pants on fire sort of guy. I think we have some of the transcript here. But ultimately, what does any of this have to do with the falsifying business charge in the indictment? It seems like, again, they're going around and around with salacious gossip that doesn't show that Trump even had knowledge or intent in this.
Well, at the end of the prosecution's case, his defense lawyers will move to dismiss the charges, and that should be granted. So far, we've heard nothing about crimes. We've heard about catch and kill, not very nice way of conducting justice, not a crime. We've heard about hush money. Alexander Hamilton paid hush money, and many, many, many other prominent people have paid hush money. There is no crime here. The only technical misdemeanor is barred by this. And, like a resurrection, they try to bring it alive by claiming that his psychoanalytic intent in signing that statement, which they claim is false, and which, of course, Trump had nothing to do with signing himself, was solely to affect federal election law. But the federal government, which has jurisdiction over federal election law, said, no, we're not going to charge Trump with that. No crime here. Right. I've been teaching 60 years, writing. Declined. I don't get it. I don't see crime.